All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us
Yeah,
today.
hello.
I'm joined today by Filip Maukš, and he's going to be showing us today his VR e-bike concept, and it's going to be awesome. And we're just going to learn a little bit about Philip's journey and get to know him a little bit and get a look into his journey in design and his whole thinking process using VR. It's going to be great. So thank you everybody for joining today. Let me just make sure everything is running well. Looks good. Um, Philip, why don't you just quickly introduce yourself to everyone watching here, a little bit just about who you are
Yeah.
and yeah, just give like a little introduction.
Okay, so hello. My name is Filip Maukš. I am from Slovakia and I study as a doctoral student at Slovak University of Technology at the Department of Design. And yes, I am a keen cyclist, keen motorbike rider, and I also a keen user of Gravity Sketch in my workflow. And I recently finished my internship in Škoda Design Studio, where I was working on a e-bike concept. And I will show you this project and the whole workflow and how I used VR in designing this e-bike.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you. That's how I found. That's how I actually got introduced to your work, Philip. Is actually our education lead, Emil. He shared his work, shared your work with us, and I just thought it was excellent, and reached out to you. And so, thank you very much for having the giving some of your time to show the community your process and your work. Well, first off, before we dive into your work and everything, I just want to ask you how you got started in design and how you got into designing bikes and really just designing things in the real world and just tell us a little bit about your journey coming into the world of design and maybe in through school and everything.
Like, really, I cannot give you a direct answer because I was riding bikes and motorbikes since I was little. I believe I had my first bike when I was like 8 or 9, and I don't believe I ever wanted to be something else as a designer because I actually never applied for another kind of school. I just looked at design schools when it was time to go to university, and I went to one that accepted me.
Wow.
And it
So
was in Bratislava. It was Slovak University of Technology, and yeah,
that's
that's
amazing.
that's kind of it.
So
Quite direct.
very early on, you knew that you wanted to design bikes.
Yeah, I always liked sketching. I always liked drawing, and it kind of went
Yeah.
seamlessly to this point.
What was the moment where you realized that it was an actual job that you could design these things? Was that pretty early on as well?
No, because I am from a small town, and I before when I was researching schools, like universities to go to, I never heard about a designer job. But as I get to the university, as I get to my first class, and I saw that there is a Škoda project on our department, like cooperation with Škoda Design Studio, I knew I want to go this way, the transport way. Like
Amazing.
I tried cars in the beginning, but it didn't really work out for me well. So I went to bikes and motorbikes, like the things I knew all my life because I was riding bikes and bicycles since I was little.
Yeah, it almost seems like you realized that there's when you have a passion or you have something that you're interested in, that you from very early on, a lot of time that's an indication of what you feel like you're almost meant to do or just really focus your time on. Why not focus on something that makes you passionate, makes you excited, about design, and that's really cool. That's amazing. And so, and it shows through your work, like it shows through all the details and all of the thinking behind it. It's very obvious that you're passionate about it, and so I think it'll be really great when we get into it. How soon was it? I just want to ask, how soon was it when you started in school and design that VR became a part of your workflow? Was it really early on? Was it kind of later? Did you discover it later? How was that process of incorporating VR and it being a tool for you to design your bikes?
It was actually very late. It didn't start it till I started my PhD. Like for 6 years, it started with an idea. Throughout my studies, I was working on different kinds of motorbikes, and then I finished my final thesis. It was a sports bike, and I wanted to go on a doctoral studies, and the idea was, okay, I have this 3D model of a sports bike, and now I want to see it in real scale. I want to sit on it. And then I realized that this can be done without making a physical model. This can be done in virtual reality. So this became my topic. And firstly, I was working with Unreal Engine. I built a simulator, which we also will show later. And then I realized that there is this whole movement of working in virtual reality, like creating things in virtual reality. And I discovered Gravity Sketch. And it came to me as the best option. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also tried many different modeling software, other modeling softwares in VR, but I kind of stick to Gravity Sketch.
Got it. What were some of the other ones that you tried using?
Yeah, the very first one was Google Blocks. But it was a bit limiting because it was just too blocky. And then the other from Google, can't remember the name now.
Tilt brush?
Yes, Tilt brush, but it was too artistic. There was brushes that looked like thunder or like lava or like magma on rocks, and it was nice, but it wasn't very useful for what I was doing for the design. And then I discovered Gravity Sketch, and suddenly I could be a bit more precise, and I didn't care about the flashiness of the materials, just about the shapes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I was just curious about how you discovered VR and how that connection was made. So that's really interesting. Well, thank you very much, Filip. I'm going to just let you take it away and start showing your project. And we're going to jump right into it. I'll be keeping my eye on the questions that might be coming through. So everybody watching, feel free to ask Filip or myself questions about really anything, and we'll try and get them answered for you. But Filip, if you just want to take it away.
Yeah, for sure. When I started with VR, I started with visualizations. So I had the 3D models. So I had this sports bike model, which I done for my final thesis, and I wanted to visualize it, and I went for Unreal Engine. But as I knew more about VR, I figured out that the whole project suddenly can be done in VR, and that's the theme of this project. I wanted to use as much VR tools as possible. Yeah, thank you. So this project was done in Škoda Design Studio on my internship, and actually I divided it to two stages. So usually when you start designing something, you take a...
I'm just positioning it so the camera can see it.
Yeah, sure. Usually when you start to work on some design, you take a pencil and you start making first sketches. But I was thinking, how about start in VR from the first idea? So I wanted to make a bicycle. So I sketched only these small icons. There was like 2 by 3 centimeters, very small icons of the future design, like the main line or the main shape that can be transformed in some kind of design. And I knew it's gonna be a bicycle, so I went to Rhinoceros, the NURBS 3D modeling software, and I made these 3D blueprints. For example, like I took a real bike and I turned it into this skeleton, or actually I also take, this is like an e-bike, and I had many of these skeletons and they all could be imported into Gravity Sketch. So now I had my inspiration, I had my like 3D skeleton, 3D blueprint, and I started to sketch over them. Oh, sorry, it's froze a bit. Okay.
There we go.
And again. Oh.
Yeah, give me one. Here, let me see if I can grab it.
Okay,
I got
will
it.
just delete this. And yeah, and this was like the first sketches.
These are really cool. I love looking at these. These are just so, just I think it's got some really cool shapes.
Yeah, the main point was they should be rough, very rough, just a rough idea, and like the first sketch you make in a bar on a napkin or something like that, and just intersecting volumes and nothing very specific. And some of these are actually just accidents that I started to make volumes and they started to make sense at some point. And these were actually the main inspiration. And there were many of these first VR sketches at the beginning.
Yeah, these look super cool. I know you said that they're rough models, but I mean, I think they would all be like, I would love to see all of these as an actual final design. But obviously you can't go with all of them, right? You have to come to a final concept. But yeah, I love the style. I love the really unique spoke design as well. Is there anything you can share on some of your spoke design and maybe your thought process behind the spokes? It just looks really interesting and unique.
You mean spoke like wheels?
Yeah.
It was like I knew in the finish, I knew the wheels are gonna be like just the regular spokes, and I just went crazy with this. I was just playing around. There was no big idea behind the wheels, actually.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think they're they're just so unique. Yeah, they just kind of stuck out to me.
So, and like, maybe I can delete these now.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Just wait. It froze again for me. Okay. So, and yeah, and then now this picture. There is actually a reason why these models were only black and white, because I just wanted to play with the basic volumes. And when I then printed these out, I started to sketch over them. So these VR models served as a blueprint for more sketching. So it multiplied many times. Like if there was like 12 or 15 or 20 of these, then I had 60 of these, and suddenly there was so many ideas. So at some point you have to like pick the key ones, and actually these ones were the key sketches based on these models. And yeah, there is another picture. And from these two key sketches, I took the elements which I liked the most, like this classic bicycle opening, and this flying green shape. And usually when you design something, you come to the point where you say to yourself, okay, this is my key sketch. And in case of Gravity Sketch, I came to the point where I decided that this is my key VR model.
You can use this if you want to point as well.
Yeah, thank you. So this was my key model, and I can try to import it here, this model.
Okay. Hopefully it doesn't crash on us, but it should be fine.
Yeah, we'll try it. I tried it before, it was okay.
Yeah, while you're pulling that up, I just want to say that, yeah, this is awesome work, and it's really cool to see the design translate from your sketches to 3D. It looks exactly just like the sketches.
Yeah, and here it is. And
beautiful.
Of course, the advantage of Gravity Sketch is that from the beginning, all the things were done in real scale. And yeah, you can see this model is like, it's pretty rough, but all the main idea is there, that it has this, it has this floating design. Like, it's still a bicycle. It's based on a trail bike geometry. But it should be like a hybrid between bicycle and motorbike. So it has an engine, electric engine, and it has this style of floating fairings, and also it has like integrated lights, and yeah.
Just tilting it so people can see the top as well. That's awesome. And so this is where you said the motor, or the power source is located in here?
No, it's like a normal e-bike. The battery is here. Here is the engine, and it has a gearbox. I will show it later on a sketch.
I see.
It doesn't use a classic derailleur, like the classic system, where you have the teeth cassette on the back wheel, but it has a transmission here in the frame. Yeah, but I will show you that later.
Very cool.
Yeah, like I said, it should be this hybrid. It's still the size of a bicycle, but it has features of a motorbike. And that was the idea. And it has the fairings, it has the fenders and all the lights. I think that there is a place for experimentation, like for these crossovers between bicycles and motorbikes now when we have electric drivetrains, and I think more stuff like this will come out, and it's actually coming out.
Absolutely, I agree. The more stuff like this is going to be the future, of
I
think commuting.
Actually, that is my inspiration board. This is this is called Bultaco. It's I believe Spanish brand, and this is called Pneumatic, this bike, and I believe this is Suron. It's a Chinese electric dirt bike. So yeah, this was the theme of my project.
Very nice.
This kind of hybrid. Okay, and Then, like, this picture shows the whole thinking process. So right now we were here at this like ideation process where I was creating the first ideas in Gravity Sketch to the point of a key model. And yes, we ended here with this key model, but it's quite rough and we need to refine it. So I needed to create a package, like a precise technical package, like what size of the wheels are, where is the motor, where is the transmission, what is the geometry, where is the seat and the handlebars. So I took this model and I went to Rhinoceros, to NURBS, to do some precise modeling, and I will rather delete this because this package is a bit big, if you mind.
Yeah, sure, go right ahead.
Yes, this one.
And so this is the model that you took from Gravity Sketch and took it further. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I took that. Oh, sorry. I took that.
I think. Oh, here we go. It's loading still for me, but it's. I think you just need a minute or two.
Okay, I have it here already.
It's I think you can see it, but for me, it still looks like boxes. But I think it just needs more time. Like we can see the wheels. Everything's kind of populating. But we'll just give it a second. It's probably just because it's a more dense model.
Yes, this one is a bit dense, but the other ones will be smaller.
Oh, you know what? We only see tires, handlebars, and transmission, but we don't see anything else.
Yeah, that's the point, because
Okay.
this was the technical package I created in Rhino. So I took that model, that key model I had here before, I put it into Rhino software, and I created like the precise technical package. Like the angles, the geometry is already there.
I see.
So the wheelbase and all the cranks and the engine, I will delete the dummy.
Very cool.
Yeah, and the seat position.
That's amazing. So Gravity Sketch gave you the ability to actually flesh out the actual architecture for this bike properly in CAD. That's what you're saying?
Basically, because first I came out with the idea what I want the bike to be, and then I created this package, and then I imported this package back to Gravity Sketch, and I started Sketch over it. And now I knew my bike will be like the ergonomy and the size and the proportions will be spot on, because this package was keeping all the dimensions.
That's amazing. Yeah, super beautiful work.
Just let me import the final model.
Yeah, and feel free to ask questions to everybody that's joining.
Yes, and here it is. Can you see it?
Yes.
So
might need to shrink it, just bring it back here a little bit, but
yeah, okay.
Let me put it there. There you go.
Yes, so the package I had here before, I imported it back to Gravity Sketch, and I started Sketch over it. And just a minute. Yeah, and now I knew that yes, the ergonomy and all the proportions are correct. You can see the pedals, the cranks, the wheels, the spokes. Like those are the details I didn't want to create in Gravity Sketch. They were too technical. So I made them in a different software and just imported them here, and all the rest, all the design, all the fairings are made then in Gravity Sketch. So it's kind of combination of different modeling softwares.
I have a question for you. Would you want Gravity Sketch to have the ability to allow you to do those more technical details, or do you prefer doing sort of the design, the organic modeling in Gravity Sketch, and then using other programs for the more technical side, the CAD side, and all of that? Do you? That's mainly what we focus on. Is Gravity Sketch, allows you to create the design right, but then the others you can use another software to get the engineering data, get the CAD data. What are some of your thoughts on that?
Like, I think that you cannot have a software that does everything.
Yeah.
And I actually prefer to switch between softwares and between like modeling on a PC with a mouse and modeling in VR, because it was a nice change of working environment.
Yeah.
I was not doing like the same thing all the time, and I'm not sure if I would like to have like this precision modeling in Gravity Sketch.
You're saying it could be too much. It could be too much in VR, too much. Yeah, I perceive it as potentially too much time in VR, honestly. Like in VR,
Yeah.
you want to just be creative and you want to make, and then and it's pretty quick, right? And then you can take that information out, bring it into Rhino, bring it into SolidWorks, whatever you use, and continue working. So yeah, that totally makes sense. And but yeah, thank you for your thoughts on that. It seems to be how a lot of people prefer working as well.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the final model. And I was quite pleased how it came out, because this is the most precise model I created in Gravity Sketch ever, and it was a great basis for the polygonal model I created later, because it's I saw all the potential places where the surfaces went, like where they were twisting or something, and I saw it here, and I solved all the problems in virtual reality, and then I actually used Cinema 4D. When I went to Cinema, to polygons, everything was like sorted out, and I just model it, and this was the blueprint for the final modeling.
So you use Cinema for your
Yes.
Very cool, awesome. Yeah, it looks beautiful. It looks wonderful, and I just like the style, sort of the angular look of it.
And here are some final sketches.
Yeah, this looks awesome. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit, just so everybody can see. Yeah, very nice. So what do you use for your rendering? What do you use for, because obviously this kind of has like a painterly sort of style to it. What's your process for taking your model and doing these beautiful renders with it?
Like I had this model, and yes, I went to Cinema 4D and made a final polygonal model, and I was on an internship, so I was trying every software I came in contact with. So I actually used VRED for renderings.
Very cool.
we read from Autodesk, and because you can see on these sketches that there are many technical details like the hoses and these pedals. I wouldn't like to paint that in Photoshop. So actually these technical details are rendered, and then it's taken to Photoshop, and yeah, everything is done in Photoshop, and these technical details are then color matched to my sketch.
It's amazing. I just can't get enough looking at these details and all the like little highlights, the little fillets and rounds that you have on all these edges. It looks amazing.
Yeah, and you see, and there are also the brakes, and it would be really pain to, or the tires. It would be really difficult to
You're
paint
right.
it, or to Photoshop it somehow. So I just rendered that and painted the rest.
Absolutely, yeah. It makes so much sense, right? I mean, you build it in 3D, so they don't have to spend hours rendering it, and because you have a 3D model, you can get, I don't know, 10, 20 more views if you want, and spend on average less time doing the actual Photoshop rendering part. And now you have 10, 15 views of your bike, and you don't have to spend hours on each one. It just makes sense.
Yes, and actually, what I also liked about Gravity Sketch, about refining the design, was that it's something between the 3D modeling and the sketching, because with Gravity Sketch you are using your gestures, and I find myself modeling the way I would never do with the mouse. And also the advantage is that you have a 3D model, so you are able to print screen or make a picture from any angle. And yeah, then you can bring those pictures to Photoshop and refine the design, and then go back to VR and remodel, and then make a picture again, go back to Photoshop. And this is basically how this project was done. I was switching between Photoshop and Gravity Sketch and refining the design.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, but that makes so much sense. And I found that too. Working in VR, I find myself doing things in 3D that I normally wouldn't do if I was in a 2D application, with a mouse. So you can really explore what's possible. Was there any one of those videos that you thought would apply at this point?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
It's fine. No worries.
Yeah, you can play them.
Which one did you want to play first?
The first one is the Ideation.
Okay. I'm going to just screen share that one. Let's see. Awesome.
Yeah, so I believe that was the video with the icons and how these first ideas were coming out in Gravity Sketch. And then maybe you can show the other video where there is this key sketch and the Rhino package, and then back to Gravity Sketch.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and play that one real quick as well. And I just wanted to, yeah, comment. I love the process. I love watching
Oh,
seeing your modeling process is just so cool to see. And let's see. And so this next one, I believe, is you taking your process further through into Rhino. So I'm going to go ahead
yes.
and play this. Awesome. Yeah, yeah, excellent workflow, and I think it just further supports the whole workflow of working in VR, working in 3D in VR, and then um, taking that information, that 3D data, into whatever you want. SolidWorks, Fusion 360, Rhino, and like you said earlier, you were able to take that design in Gravity Sketch and build your final architecture with the wheels and the tread, the transmission, and you were able to get that finely tune that specific architecture that you would need for your final design, and then bringing it back into VR and using the power of being creative in VR to get that really organic, stylized look. And it probably would designing this not the package, but designing the actual exterior, the surfaces for this probably was a lot faster to do in VR as well. I would assume, which is why you chose to go that route.
Yes, exactly. Also, what I found about VR is that when I am only in 2D, like the sketches many times lie, and as you are as you sketch more and more, you become better. So you can sketch the same thing from different angles, and it's still the same thing, if you understand me. But
Yes.
sometimes when you not as experienced, you think you sketch the same thing from the two different angles, and when you bring it to 3D, you discover that it just doesn't work. It cannot be. It can be either this one or this one. Like the way you put shadows in, it simply the surface just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the VR has the advantage that you have it's 3D, so you that the 3D space helps you to find your shape faster, I would say,
Yeah.
or to avoid mistakes, or you see the mistakes much faster, in earlier stages of designing.
Yeah, someone just asked on the comments, Michael K. He asked, "Is this faster to create a 3D object, or is it slower because you need more hand gestures?" And I think you kind of just answered the question there um, about working in VR, and you said the sketches lie, which is so true. Sketches, they look really nice on paper, but you don't really understand what it's really doing on the backside in 3D, and it's deceiving, and the benefit, at least to answer your question, Michael, when I find when I'm working in VR, I have the speed of sketching, but it's in 3D, and so I'm addressing these problems and addressing these design decisions in real time. And then at the end, I have a 3D model, and so the time I spent, I maybe would have spent sketching or doing more views in a sketch or something. I spent that time in VR, and now I have a 3D model that I can then use, like Philip has demonstrated to us, bringing it into Rhino and taking it further. But
Maybe
yeah,
I will have my take on
yeah, go
this
ahead,
question.
please. Yeah, please share.
That like Gravity Sketch or VR modeling isn't here to like be used instead of like, sorry.
It's fine.
The VR modeling isn't here to replace the traditional way,
Yeah.
but it's another tool to help you with your ideation, and in the early stages it can be very helpful because, as we spoke, the 2D sketching lie a lot, and in VR you are able to like sketch model because it's different than modeling in 2D on a computer screen. By using gestures, you are more like sketching, not modeling, and you are able to make 3D models faster. Very rough 3D models, but it's faster, and you see in the 3D all the mistakes, all the surprises that you wouldn't see on 2D
That's a
your
great point.
classical sketches.
That's a great point, and that's something that we try and say too. That we're not trying to replace CAD. We're not trying to replace anything like Rhino or SolidWorks. It's more just to allow you to understand your design really in 3D before you bring it into SolidWorks or Rhino, so that when you go into these CAD packages, you're able to work out those more fine details for manufacturing, but your design intent stays true because you developed it in VR. And it's not meant to replace 2D sketching either. And so, and actually, it actually depends on who you are. Some people have found different places that Gravity Sketch fits in for them, and so that's part of the discovery process as well. I found with VR and how it fits. But that's a great point.
It's more about choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
The hard thing about Gravity Sketch is that it is harder to get used to, like to use, because it's so different from anything else I've tried. Like usually when you have a polygon modeling software, like you are like Cinema 3D user like me, and you need to switch to Blender, you know how fundamentally how the software works, and you just need to get used to different icons. But Gravity Sketch is something totally different, and like the learning curve is much steeper. You need to get used to it, and also you need the specific hardware. But it is very helpful tool, and many times I found myself also switching between like polygonal modeling and Gravity Sketch. So I had a very rough polygonal model. I went to Gravity Sketch to explore options, and then I took all these options into polygonal modeling and redefined those which I liked, and then went back to Gravity Sketch because it was for me much faster to try things in VR than with the mouse on the monitor.
Yeah, makes sense, and yeah, great points. And yeah, I think like Philip said, that I think the learning curve is just with VR, with Gravity Sketch. I don't know if you said this, but yeah, the learning curve seems to be just pretty shallow. Like with with VR and Gravity Sketch, it's very quick to get acquainted with the tools. I actually was looking down here as well. I wanted to ask you about this image. Let me shrink this because I know you've mentioned Unreal Engine as well a couple of times, and I just wanted to ask you about your process for using Unreal Engine and why you chose Unreal Engine. And yeah, maybe just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, maybe I will try to bring the one image I had here before. So this one. Like this is like the mind map. So at the beginning, we were here with this ideation process. Then after making the key model, I was here in this, I was refining the VR model, where I went from key sketching from key model to Photoshop, and I get to this VR model. And the final stage of this VR project was to take this VR model, go to Cinema 4D, make a final polygonal model, and then visualize it in VR in Unreal Engine. So it makes like the whole bicycle was designed and finally visualized using VR tools, mainly VR tools. That was the point of this project.
It's beautiful, and the benefit too with Unreal is that you have real time. You can see it with the materials and lighting all in real time, and it looks really nice. And you can
Yeah,
build in interaction too if you wanted.
and why Unreal Engine? It's like I also tried VRED, and VRED is very simple and very fast, but like Unreal Engine has nearly unlimited possibilities. And this is actually very fast rendering because the beach scene is downloaded. It's free, and the model is mine obviously, but the materials is like you can download free automotive package directly from Unreal Engine for free. So
Very cool.
yeah, you just stick things together in Unreal. Unreal has also, it's difficult to learn because basically you can code in it, but I'm not a coder, but you can use the blueprints. And yeah, you can very fast start making very professional looking VR presentations or VR renderings.
Very nice. Very cool. I think there's a question here in the chat. It says, "Hello from Czechia." It says, "Question for Philip: Do you also make some Skoda car concept designs?"
Actually, no.
Okay.
Like I was on an internship in Skoda studio and I was working just on bicycles. But actually Skoda has a heritage in motorbikes and bicycles. So I'm not that off topic.
Going back to the roots.
Yes.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much, Philip, for showing this incredible project and going into your process and showing your workflow. I certainly learned a lot, actually, from you showing this. I'm assuming that people watching learned a thing or two. It's great talking with you. Something that we always like to ask towards the end of these interviews is if there's anything in Gravity Sketch that you would like to see functionality-wise, features, or if you want to say, hey, I really like this about Gravity Sketch, if you could share any thoughts or wants that you'd like to see in Gravity Sketch that would help you in your workflow and help your workflow be more efficient.
Like the tool I find myself using the most is actually a volume tool, because all these first sketches were done just with volumes, and a tool I would like to see, I'm not sure because I was a bit busy lately, and you've been adding a lot of functionality in last weeks. But what I found myself like looking for always was on some kind of align tool, aligning points, aligning objects.
Awesome. Yeah. I think there's been a lot of other people that have brought up, lining things up and things like that, aligning, and I think scaling is probably relates to that as well. So yeah, we're certainly aware of those things, but yeah, thank you for your thoughts on that. And that's okay if you don't have any thoughts or specific thoughts or feedback on that as well. It's completely fine. We just always like to ask it, because we're always taking feedback and curious what the community is wanting or what they love using. So, but yeah, thank you very much. Lastly, is there a good place that people can find you? Where can people find you if they want to see more of your work?
Yeah, I have a portfolio at Artstation. I believe you put a link under video.
Yes. Yeah, we have that link. Yeah. We have the link for that, and then I also link to you. Go ahead.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
I'm not big in social media, so I don't have an Instagram actually.
Okay.
But maybe I'm thinking about setting up one.
That's completely fine.
In
Yeah.
the future.
Artstation's pretty popular too, so it's a great place. We've linked his Artstation as well as we've also linked to your portfolio on issueu.com, and so you can find his portfolio there. But once again, I want to thank you, Filip, for joining us today, and thank everybody that has been watching. And this will be posted on our live videos as well, so you can watch this from the beginning if you missed the beginning. But yeah, is there maybe lastly, Filip, is there anything that you're working on currently or going to start working on that you'll be sharing, and maybe you want people to know about it?
Yeah, maybe there was this VR simulator we wanted to show, but I believe we don't have much more time. But that project is also on Artstation. It's
Awesome.
actually a rally bike, and it's sort of augmented reality, like modeling, because what you model in Gravity Sketch, you are able to synchronize with this like real simulator, motorbike simulator. So you are able to sit on the first sketch you make. And yeah, this project is also on Artstation. It's not finished yet, but there is also a YouTube video about it. So yeah, you can check that.
Awesome.
And I'm actually, right now when I'm finished with this, I'm actually starting to finishing that project. So there will be more sketches and more models coming soon.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much again, Filip, for your time, and thank you everyone for watching. And we will see you next week. But thank you very much, Filip. See
Thank
everyone
you.
later.
Bye.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you very much.